Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Group podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back with another film review. Today, we are going to take a look at The Gorge. This is an
Gorge.
Apple TV original. Right now,
Mhm.
IMDb gave this joint a 6.8. That
That's fair.
that may
That's fair. It's
be
fine.
that may be a little high, dude. For real. Come on.
I, to me, 6.8 is fair. I don't. If people want to lower it, that's fine. If you want it higher, there are parts of it. I was like, oh, this is all right.
Mhm.
I didn't hate it, but like, we'll talk about what the point of the movie is.
Yeah,
Because
I
like
didn't.
the premise is, you got the one guy on one side and there's another sentry guard on the other side of this gorge,
Mhm.
and their job is to guard this thing 24 hours a day for a year. They got beat down there by themselves for a whole year, which to me, I feel like this is a 20-30 person job. It's not a one person job.
Yeah.
I know this stuff's automated, but like, come on, bro. So they're there watching this gorge, and there's monsters down there trying to keep them down there, and so they don't climb up and get out. And there's all these mystery, and there's all this stuff going on, intrigue that turns out not to be that important. Basically, government corruption. That's what
This
it
is
is.
basically what it is,
Corruption.
man. It's so weird that you know the sort of patina you're gonna get with Apple TV. The movie was shot
Mhm.
beautifully. However, I would
Mhm.
say that I'm gonna say 70 to 80% was kind of unwatchable. It was so dark. The joint was so
It was pretty
dark.
dark.
It was
It's,
so
it was,
dark.
it was a
What I
lot of
mean,
dark
like
stuff.
you got an Apple, you got to stop shooting in HDR. Not everyone has HDR. You know what I'm saying? And I was
Yeah,
just like, you
yeah,
can't even
yeah,
watch
a
this
hundred
joint.
percent.
You can't even watch it. 80%, the 70, 80% was unwatchable. It was too dark. But I will say this
Yeah.
about the film, right? And again, Apple
Mhm.
TV is going to do what they do. They give you beautifully, shot, written sort of like
It
content.
looked nice, especially when they went to Gorge. It looked nice.
Yeah, it looked
Spoiler
really
alert.
nice. So I was like, watching it and I was just like, I kept shaking my head as I was watching it. I was just like, why do we have all of this dialogue? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, who cares if it's who cares if it's her birthday or if it's you
Mhm.
guys are toasting. She has vodka, you have potato vodka. Who cares about all that stuff? You know what I'm saying? It's just like
Yeah.
when I was watching it, I was like, okay, the premise, the basic
Mhm.
hardcore premise of this film is
It's
really
good.
good. You
It's really
have
good,
east
yeah.
west side, you have a gorge in between. There's like an
Mhm.
experiment that went crazy, but kind of not
Monster.
went crazy because they think that with
Mhm.
this experiment they can create super soldiers. Like, come on,
Mhm.
dude. I mean, it's just like, okay. So it's just like, okay, if you want to do that, that's
It's
fine.
a
That's a really good
yeah.
storyline. The other really good storyline is this. How'd you come
Mhm.
up with cloaks? I mean, tell
Mhm.
us how you came up with cloaks, because we only see cloaks in like Star Wars and like Star Trek and stuff like that. It's just like,
Yeah,
where did the
keep
cloak
the
come
could block
from?
the satellite. He was blocking the satellites. Like, it
Yeah.
you're right. The premise is interesting. It's kind of like, basically, it's Resident Evil, but like, two countries are guarding the thing that's Resident Evil created down in the gorge,
Mhm.
and they're trying to prevent it from coming out. So like, you have to understand, all right? What you're watching is a love story, an action movie, and a horror
Mhm.
movie all together, merged together into one.
Yeah.
And some parts is okay, like the horror parts is it's kind of scary, but not really scary because PG-13. Had this movie been R, I think it would have been better for it.
Mhm.
And I think that there should have been more people who died during the Gorge assault,
Yeah.
because it's just the two of them. You
Just
can't afford to lose anybody.
right. You
So you
know,
can't have everybody die really gruesome. You're like, oh man, what kind of movie is this? You can't
right.
get that because it's only two people.
And I kept thinking, like, when are they going to run out of ammo? Because they have to.
Bro, they had unlimited clips in this movie. I'm like, this is
It's just like
absurd.
I think she ran out of like her shotgun or something once or twice. I think he ran out of a handgun. So did she. And I was just like, okay, so
It's
they're down in this gorge. How
absurd.
many people are down in this gorge?
From the
Mhm.
movie says that something was down there, some kind of animal or something like that
Oh,
was
right.
down there. So they sent
A
the
brigade.
cavalry down there.
Yeah.
It was like
Hmm.
2,000 men
Yep.
from east and west. and on the horses. They went
Mhm.
down there,
Yes, that's true.
and remember, there's people that were doing experiments down there. So those people were down there with that craziness happened to them first, and then you had the people that they sent the cavalry down to.
Right.
So I'm assuming in total is maybe 3,000
Yeah.
beings
They said,
beings down
right,
there,
yeah. They said the brigade
and then
was
all the
about like
animals and
right.
yeah,
Yeah, that just and then also the trees came, to life as well. It's just like you see what I'm saying? It's just
yeah.
like, okay, what is this experiment? Okay, you this is an
Mm-mm.
experiment that you want to create super soldiers with, right? Super hollow men
Bruh.
soldiers. I don't know how that's gonna work, right? And
Yeah.
then,
Mhm.
okay, if you want to do that, give us the background on like dark, what is it, dark late, this like mercenary sort of like organization. Give us the
Yeah,
background
we
on
we don't know
them.
anything about yeah,
Yeah.
we don't know anything about them, the company that's doing the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't learn anything. Literally, we learned nothing about them, except they watched the movie. They had time to watch a movie, and then I guess he saw some people writing on the wall. He read the thing on the wall, but, like, it wasn't enough. And I feel like they spent too much time on the romance and stuff like that and not enough on the
Yes.
backstory.
Hmm.
And so, like, it would have been better suited if it was a little bit shorter because it's kinda long movie. I think it's like 2 hours long almost. And
Yep.
so it would have been better
2 hours.
suited
Hmm.
if you added more to the backstory and you pick a lane. If it's gonna be a horror movie, it's a horror movie. It's gonna be a love story, it's a love story. You pick a lane. But like this is the thing though. I like Miles Teller, the Anna was it Anna, whatever her name is, Anna K, whatever her name is.
Oh,
I
the
forgot. I got
girl from Miami. Yeah, she's from Miami.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know her name, but Anna K,
Hmm.
whatever. Who I find attractive and not attractive at the same time.
Hmm.
She's in the she's Schrodinger's
She's
in
on a
between the
fence.
box.
She's
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
fence there.
Sometimes I
Hmm.
see her, I'm like, well, hello there. Other
Hmm.
times, like, ugh, like, but like, so I don't know. But regardless, she's a good actress. She's the bunch of stuff that I've seen that I liked, and I like Miles Teller. It's like the cast is good. You have a good cast, right?
Yeah, it was
The
pretty good.
storyline is
Hmm.
good, premise is good, the basic overall arch of the story is good. But but it dragged on a little bit too long,
Too much
and
talking. Hmm.
honestly, I feel like a little bit more backstory about who's doing what and why would have helped you care more about the things or why you have to stop these guys. And then, like, he doesn't even know that he's supposed to get killed after this thing. Like, that's the other part. Like, he had no idea that was gonna happen to
Like, yeah,
him.
it's just like, hey. And then they
Yeah, if
had
he never fell in there, like, they would have never said anything to him.
the girl from
Mhm.
the east side, just like
Yo,
boom,
she jumped in like
jumped off,
Conan, man.
with the parachute, and so she's down in the gorge, and they go into this like they find all this stuff, equipment, everything else. The woman
Yeah.
who hired him, she's watching the whole thing from like America or wherever she.
Yeah, yeah, wherever they
I'm
are,
like,
wherever they
dude,
are.
what
I
is
think I
going
think
on
they're in
here?
America.
Yeah.
I think they're in America
Mhm.
somewhere, way up in the Midwest or something like they're somewhere far up north in America.
Yeah.
That's where I think it is. But
So,
regardless,
yeah.
regardless, it's okay.
It's
That's all I
just
can say.
okay, man. It's
It's
just okay. It was too
okay.
dark. It was too
It's
dark.
not terrible. It's
Mhm.
just okay.
Yes.
I'm not mad that I watched it, but I could have watched something else and that would have been fine too. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't knock it for that because the acting was fine. I didn't her accent didn't bother me. Like I know people from Lithuania. I know a lot of Slavic people.
Mhm.
It was okay. Like it was all right.
I
It's
watched
fine.
it this morning. I was just like having my coffee and I watched it this morning. I was like, wow, this joint
Yeah.
is this is crazy. So I think that
Mhm.
um you know how I feel about like shows,
Mhm.
mostly any show when it comes to like the music that they play in these joints. And they had the audacity to play this
Mhm.
music like very loud. So it was just like, okay,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
supposed to freak you
ridiculous.
out.
Yeah, it was like crazy and whatnot. And then, so I was thinking, like, you probably had 30 minutes of dialogue you really didn't need in here, right? With the romance part, you
Mhm.
could have gotten rid of the romance part. If he went over to the other side, or if he fell into the gorge or whatever, and then she came down, you can
Mhm.
communicate through writing and everything else, but it's ridiculous to say that, hey, because this guy
Yeah.
wants some, like, because he wants to get with old girl, he's going to like
Mm.
throw like a rope across the gorge, slide down the rope just to like do whatever he's gonna do with this woman. And I'm just
Dude, it
like,
would not be me, all right?
that's
Yeah, I'll have
silly. That's
I
not
have
even
adventure in my
happening.
body.
Hmm.
I'll go skiing, I'll do all kind of stuff, but I go across that thing
Yeah.
because here's the thing, and we talked about this before. They know what's inside the gorge now.
Yeah.
They've been there long enough. They've had a couple battles with the gorge. They saw what's inside, and he's like, "Let me cross that for some some box. Let me
Yep.
cross the gorge for some box."
Come
Oh
on.
hell no, hell to the no.
And then you got to come
I
back.
she, I mean, like, come on, man. Like,
Come
I
on.
don't believe she's hot enough for me to be like, you know
She's
what?
not. She's
These
not hot
these
enough,
alien
dude.
beings or whatever these monsters are crawling up this thing. Let me go cross this gorge on a rope. Let me go do that. Oh hell
Keo,
no! That's
listen.
a hard pass.
Keo,
Hard
no
pass.
one is hot enough to go across a gorge that you don't even know what's
Yeah.
happening down there. You know what I'm You don't even know how far down it is because it's so much,
Yes.
just like fog and everything. And I'm just like,
Yeah,
this is
you don't
it's
even know how
crazy.
far deep it is or
Yeah,
what's down there. All you
right.
know is there's monsters that tried to crawl up, and the other day you ran out of bullets to shoot them, and then you're like, you know what? Let me go across for some dinner, some rabbit
Yeah.
stew or whatever she gave him, bro. Like,
A-
nah, man,
And then he's
ain't
like,
no
I'll see
way.
you next month. And then like when they were like, when they had finished everything, right? And she was like, oh, he was like,
Mhm.
oh, I got to get back tomorrow for my call. They had a monthly call. And then that's when,
Yeah.
old girl was like, did you go down in the gorge? And it's just like, why would you, why would you even ask that question? You
Well,
already
obviously
know.
they're sneaky.
I
So
know,
showing
but
the video of them so with the cameras inside there, I'm like, okay, obviously she knows what's going on.
yeah,
Like, you're talking
but
to her like she's stupid.
right, but because you are like just a cold blooded killer, all these people that
Mhm,
finish their year, you kill them and they fall down in the gorge and they become part of this hollow man sort of thing, right? It's just like you don't even have
mhm.
to ask them like, were you down in the gorge? You already know. You send the troops, Dark Lake, go out there, Swiss cheese folks up, get it done. You don't even have to ask, you know.
Yeah, I
So
wouldn't ask nothing. I'm
right
like, yo, we're
because
sending troops down there. Let's
Right,
go.
because now it's a battle between Dark Lake and the two soldiers who
Mhm,
were, there to secure the gorge. So that's a
mhm.
storyline right there. See, when I'm looking at the film, when I'm looking at this film, The Gorge, I'm like, wow, this
Oh yeah, you wanted
actually
that to happen.
this actually could have been something that could have continued. But they had all
Mhm,
of this fluff with the romance. They had all the ridiculousness of people jumping down off of cliffs into a
I don't-
gorge, people crossing
but here's the
gorges,
thing.
all this stuff. Come on.
I don't think you need to go into the gorge. Like this the idea that this thing's crawling out of there is scary enough.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing. You don't even have to show that. You just show that stuff's crawling out of here and you get to shoot back. That's enough. You didn't have to see them personally.
How
Like
about
that would have
this?
been yeah.
Go ahead. No, no, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying like that.
Mhm.
You didn't need to physically show that they're what these guys look like or anything like this. Just show that there's stuff crawling out of there
Mhm.
and they look scary. The end. The end. That's it. That's the end of that. You don't need
That's
more
it.
than that. I think you could have got away without the love story. That would have been fine. I don't think you need to go into the gorge itself. And I think the battle between the dark lake, wherever that thing is,
Dark Lake.
and the
Mhm.
people inside the thing in the towers, that would have been more interesting a
Yeah.
story than going
Right.
down there
Exactly.
and shooting skulls with like spider legs and stuff like that. I don't think that was necessary.
Yeah. You
That
know,
to me, having them almost fall in the gorge and knowing this stuff is down there to get them if they do, like that's good. Like that, you could save some budget too with that. But like having elite mercenaries come down to kill you would have been better because those guys are basically useless, man.
yeah.
You said the drones with the machine guns on there,
The
like
quad
that
choppers. They call them quad
quad chopper.
choppers. Mhm.
It's not necessary. I don't
Yeah.
know. I felt like the focus wasn't on the actiony parts enough, and it's more on this other stuff, and it dragged on too long. But like again, I didn't hate it.
Mhm.
I thought it was fine. I ate my popcorn, I drank my juice, and it was fine. It
Mhm.
was okay.
So okay, so you could have done this, right? Opposed to
Mm,
going down in the gorge right away, right?
mm, yeah.
These people or these hollow men down in the gorge, this is an experiment to create super soldiers, right? So how about
Mhm,
this? How about this plot line? You don't go
mhm,
down in the gorge, but you have all of this, like, sort of like just alerts and notifications. If someone trip a wire, then things blow up, this, that, and the other. How
mhm.
about this? These
Yeah, yeah.
and then every time one of these mines explodes, you have to like go down and repair it, right? Put
Mhm.
another one up, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
how,
yeah.
how about this plot? How about, because you're
Mhm,
creating super soldiers, the soldiers, every time the hollow men, every time they try to come up and you shoot them down, every time they
mhm.
come up this, they get stronger and smarter, they defeat things, it's just like a
That would
super
that would be
soldier.
interesting.
You know what I'm saying? And
That
it's
would
just
be
like,
interesting,
when
yeah.
when I'm watching a movie, I was just like, so many things were missed in this movie. It was just
Mhm,
kind of incredible, because I'm like, well, let me know about this here. Who's Dark Lake?
mhm.
I mean, where are they?
Yeah.
Where's the money coming from? Are they being funded by, like, the Russians, the Great Brits, and also America? Because those are
Yeah,
the
no,
great.
all
That's the
3 of
brigade
them
that
were
went in.
they got the
Yeah,
flags down there for all 3 of
yeah,
those countries, so, like,
exactly. So it's just
there's
like,
there's other
let me
stuff
know.
that could
Hmm.
yeah, you're right, there's other stuff that could have been put in there to make it
Yeah,
more interesting, but I think here's the thing, I think they shot it this way to keep the budget low because you only have, like, 6 actors in the whole movie. The entire movie is, like, 6 people,
dude.
including her dad, like, it's,
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
6 people. So,
There
I think the
six
budget
people
is
spoke.
lower.
There were six people who had speaking roles in this, and
Yeah,
like literally, you heard six
literally.
people. Literally, only six people spoke.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm saying like you kept the budget low. You're
Mhm.
in one place for the bulk of the movie in 2 locations. Like like I think they did it to save money because Apple's not gonna spend. Apple's not Amazon. They're gonna put $2 billion in a movie. They can do that, right?
Well,
So it's yeah.
okay, so Apple will put some money. I mean, you think of, remember Greyhound that Apple put out? They put some money in that joint. So I know a lot of it was like,
Mhm.
just done in the
Yeah.
studio, like on computers, but they put some money into that. I think that
Mhm.
I think in Hollywood, the people may want to like look more towards Apple just based on the quality. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, and so I don't know how much this budget was. What, give me a ballpark park figure in terms of what do you think this budget was?
I don't think it had to be that high because
What do you think?
basically you're in the
80,
location. I say like
100,
60, 70
60? Really?
million.
I was thinking 100, because you got to pay the
Not would you
actors.
do
They had
but here's the
drones,
thing,
they had
like
explosions.
the technology so much farther ahead than it used to be a couple years ago.
Mhm.
If you only had a couple actors and you were on location, like you just gotta like the location, you're pretty much done.
Yeah, that's
And like
true.
and like
Mhm.
the aliens and stuff they were fighting, it wasn't overly amazing. Like it was fine.
Yeah.
The stuff they were doing could have been mostly practical, and you could got away with it, and you just add some CGI arms on it, whatever. Like that when they're inside the missile silo, like that you could have done that a lot of the green screen, and you could have got away with that. Like it wouldn't be
Yeah,
that
that's
much.
true. And the hollow man on horses, really? What are
Yeah, yeah,
these?
but see, like
Hollow horses? Are they hollow
but
horses?
it is pretty straightforward what you got there. Like it wasn't
Hmm.
something insane that this guy like made Godzilla or whatever. Like it was pretty straightforward. Like
Oh my goodness, man. This film here, again, I did not hate it. It was just a
mm,
little disappointing that this was an Apple original film. And,
mm,
70, 80% of the film was shot really dark. So it was really hard to understand what was going on. They
mm,
could have got rid of the romance. You really didn't need the romance. Because again, if old boy, like if the two of them actually bumped into each other, something
mm.
would have went down. I mean, they're out here for a year getting no yummy cakes. Come on.
Yeah, yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
dude. I mean, what's going
yeah,
on,
yeah.
you know?
I think that it should have been more so that they went after to help each other
Come
because they
on.
seen each other there for like 6 months,
Right, you
and they're like,
know?
"Oh no, she fell in or he fell in. Let me go help this guy."
Yeah,
It's gonna ruin our mission if we don't get back up in these two towers, whatever. I it was okay. Like that's the thing. I did not hate it. I keep saying that because I want people to
right.
get the wrong impression.
I didn't
I
hate it
did not
either.
hate it. It was fun time popcorn movie. I don't think it could have worked in the theater. This is a streaming movie for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
But
yeah. Mhm.
apparently, this movie's doing really well for Apple. Like they're getting a lot of people watch this movie. A lot of people. Like it's breaking records for Apple.
Mm.
So it's a win on their part. I mean,
I
it's a win
guess it
on their
works.
part.
Yeah, I guess it works, man. You know, again, I didn't hate the film. I just thought it was a little
Mhm.
disappointing being an Apple original and like
You know what?
just
I
not
did
going
hate
in the
the ending.
direction. Yeah.
The ending
Really?
of her at the restaurant, spoiler, and him showing up with
Hmm.
his sign that he wrote. F out of here, man. I don't want to see you after how many years or months, or whatever. You
Right.
say nothing to me? Like F you, man.
And
Moving on
she
with my
said,
life.
and remember, she said, we can leave together. I know a place in France. Never said the name of the city. So he
How
just
do you
like,
find
okay,
her?
exactly. That's what I'm
I
saying.
hate that's some dumb Hollywood stuff. Somebody wrote that in
Come
there. You got to
on,
get back
dude.
together.
Come on.
Why?
That's what I'm
It would
saying.
it would have made more sense that they're alone and hiding out somewhere separately. And if they got together later on from happenstance, then fine. But like he had no idea how to find her.
Right.
He traveled all of France. France is enormous. Like, what are we talking about here?
Come on.
Like that's stupid. The fact
Yeah.
that he found her is stupid, and I think it would have been better suited if one of them had died during the battle. That would have been better suited.
Okay.
Like it would say like emotionally,
Mhm.
that would have fit. That would have made more sense emotionally to keep the storyline going. And one of them didn't make it,
Mhm.
but like the fact that he just showed up at a restaurant with the sign, like "F out of here." I was like, for the most
Hey,
part of the
I'm
movie, I was like, this is
alive.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's my table for two? Whatever. Screw that. Screw all that. I don't hear none of that noise. That's dope. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Because when we're
Mhm.
talking about the romance, it's not because they smashed. It's not because he went across the ravine to get it. It was like he showed up at the end, like you're is the I don't know some stupid sitcom, the Jennifer Aniston sitcom at the end. Like that's what it looked
Come on, dude.
like 50 first dates or something like that. It looked dumb.
Come on,
The fact that he
Apple.
showed up at the end is dumb. That's
Come on,
very dumb.
Apple. We can't do this, Apple. Come on. We are talking
Mhm.
about The Gorge. This is an Apple TV original film. And Keo, what are you gonna rate The Gorge?
I give it a 6. It was fine. I didn't hate it. I don't know if I recommend it to some friends, maybe. Like I have friends that would be interested in this kind of stuff. And it like
Really?
reminds me of that the Annihilation movie
Mhm.
from Alex Garland, I think his name. That's what it reminded me of. But like I just it was okay. I was watching it, I ate my popcorn, and I was like, "Oh, that's some cool action. All right, I like Miles. That's fine." Like, it's just you're just mumbling under your breath the whole time. Like, this is okay. All right,
Yeah.
whatever. All right, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to bed. Like, that's what it was. It was nothing like, oh my god, this is the craziest thing I ever saw,
I'm gonna
or
watch
this
it
is so
again.
interesting. Yeah, yeah. If I never watch this movie again, I'll be fine with that. Like, I'll be
Yeah.
completely fine with that.
Yeah. I
So
am,
it
you know
is
what?
okay.
Again, I didn't hate the film. It was really disappointing that this is the sort of film that Apple would give us because the film had
Mhm,
really good bones. I'm also going to give it a 6. Again, I didn't hate the film. I'm
mhm.
disappointed that a film like this came from Apple. Also like Ghosted or, that film is great looking
That was
film,
terrible. That
but
was a
a
terrible
great
movie.
looking film, right?
Yeah, no, it looked good. The
Yeah,
cast was good, but it was a
right.
terrible movie.
It just seems like it
Hot
just seemed
trash.
to me it seemed like you could have like cut out maybe 30 minutes, just cut out the romance, right? Now you have
Mhm,
runway to add all of this other stuff. Who's Dark Lake? You know?
mhm.
What
Yeah,
sort of super soldier are you trying to create? Because this is like, just not an alien, but it's just like a monster.
that
You know what I'm
that's a
saying?
good point. I think this movie would have been better if it was aliens.
Yeah. It's just like, okay, you
Like
got them
that
locked
the
in.
corruption that we tried to make a super serum, that's fine. But if it
Yeah.
was aliens or something extraterrestrial or something bigger than life,
Mhm.
that's what happened down there, that would have been more interesting to me.
Yeah, they missed the
And
mark on this
like
one, dude.
you're in this place and you can never leave. Like that's the impression that you get. But like there should have been a way that you could never leave, rather than they just pick you up in the heli. What's the point of picking you up in the helicopter?
Yeah.
Just shoot that guy from the thing, like
Yeah, automatic. You get the drone and shoot you.
automatically
You don't
drop.
even have to come up there. You know what I'm
Yeah, you
saying?
get the
Yeah, that's what I'm
drone.
saying. There's
You
like
fly.
I'm
I'm
saying,
not wasting gas to come fly pick you up and shoot you out there.
exactly.
Like it's
There
dumb.
were a lot of in this movie. There were a lot of things that were missed. It has really good bones. I didn't like the fact that
Mhm,
it was super dark. It's got
mhm.
bones. They could have got rid of the romance, and then they could have added who is Dark Lake and everything else. But we both gave it a
Yeah.
6, and it's available on Apple TV Plus.
I'm sorry, Apple.
Go check
Sorry.
it out. Well, there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I'm DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.
Ah.